Yep, Andy Avalos spoke with the Boise media following Saturday's scrimmage. Prater, we're going to get to some highlights of that. This is the final week of spring football, so obviously we're going to try to talk about it every single day on Idaho Sports Talk this week with the spring game. We're crossing our fingers for good weather. Saturday afternoon, 1:30, Albertson Stadium, and the new scoreboard will make its debut. Heck, we're even talking scoreboard this week with one of the dudes who helped build it. I love it.
Nice ball game. Nice.
Great stuff. Andy Avalos. All right, Prater, let's talk about this. First, he spoke with the media. I guess let's get right to it here. This is Andy Avalos following the scrimmage, giving you kind of a little recap.
It's good from a coaching standpoint, especially when you're in the middle of it, to see it go back and forth the way it did today. The defense making good plays, the offense making explosive plays. The offense scoring in a 2-minute drive today, working its way out of a backed-up situation with an explosive run to get us out of there and create some field position and move the chains. It was good to see us connect on some deep balls, but we want to improve our efficiency there when we're taking those shots and handling those opportunities. As usual, Jonah kicked the ball well today, and excited about the way our operation is coming along there. Excited to see the way all our special teams are coming together now. Being that this is our third full week, we've been able to get all our special teams installed, and we're getting quality work at those things. And the reason why that's important, not just to learn the scheme, but it's important to see some of those young players and how they're going to show up, how some of the older guys are going to lead on special teams, because that's when the whole team comes together and it shows the mentality, and their attitude and focus towards that has been awesome. So it's good to see the progress, but we got a lot of work left to do in this last week. Each day is critical. Is we only have so many reps left, and then we put the pads on the shelf until August.
That's crazy too. Think about it. They won't wear pads for another several months after they put them down following the completion of this spring football. I liked how he said, Prater, he liked what he saw. The defense was flying around making plays. The offense was making explosive plays too. Seems like everybody was getting a little bit of bite from the apple special teams there. And then obviously the boring stuff, but it has to happen. There's just a lot of install in the spring, Prater, and he talked about that too.
Yeah, especially on special teams. You said special teams are all taken care of, and when you get out there for the scrimmage, there's a lot of reps and a lot of repetition and just a lot of tedious stuff going on. So it'll be more of the same on Saturday at 1:30 on the Blue in terms of what happened on this past Saturday. This past Saturday was a private one. That's why we're kind of giving you the words of Andy Avalos, who met with the media after that scrimmage. So a lot of work to be done. They got 3 practices this week, a scrimmage on Saturday, and then they saved their 15th practice for later on next week to clean things up before they let guys loose. So looking forward to it. About 10 of the 15 spring practices are in the books, 5 more to go.
All right. What about the physicality? How physical will the spring practice be? How physical was the scrimmage on Saturday? Here's Andy Avalos, Boise State head football coach, talking about how physical typically these scrimmages are.
We actually ended up in a few short yardage situations, both in the open field and a third and short, and then a fourth and short, couple third and shorts, the offense converted, and then a fourth and short where the defense made a play in the backfield and stood up a running back, and it was exciting to see. So that's where I say going back and forth. There ended up being a couple goal line situations too, which in most cases in games, that's maybe 5% of what you get if it's not scripted, and it was good to get some of that work in naturally today and see the physicality at the goal line.
All right, let's dive into the offense here. Obviously, there's a big emphasis on this offense. Bush Hamdan installing a new offense, as they like to say, and running game, passing game, all kinds of things coming together right now. We know that there's lots of players involved, and they're just trying to put together the scheme, trying to put together some starters, trying to focus on the offensive line. But here's Bush Hamdan. Here's Andy Avalos on Bush Hamdan, what he's seeing with Bush Hamdan's offense, and maybe a little bit of touch on the passing game.
When you look at it from number one, there's a mentality that we're continuing to build off from last year. Explosive plays start at the line of scrimmage, and from there it's about getting the ball in the right people's hands, and we're doing that. We're spreading the ball around, whether it's different guys out of the backfield. When you look at the list of wide receivers that caught the ball today, it's every position that caught the ball today, and there's probably 9-10 guys on this list that had receptions, and that's cool to see because that makes a defense defend everything.
You mentioned the deep balls. Who were some guys that stuck out in the deep passing?
Yeah, so Steph had a nice deep ball today, and Prince had a long reception today on a double move that was nice to see. Him run the route and the quarterback connect with him that he finished in the end zone. We talked about Louder's play in the 2-minute play. Those were some pretty glaring plays.
Again, there's Andy Avalos talking about what he saw there and the follow-up with the passing game as well. Now, if this offense is going to work well under Bush Hamdan, Prater, I think that means Taylen Green is probably going to be doing some things, right? Passing, running the ball. Taylen Green, what did he do? And on Saturday's scrimmage, here's Andy Avalos talking a little TG10.
Taylen's open to grow each and every day, and that's the cool part about it. The things that we do well, we still want to grow on from practice to practice. Things we got to be better at. He's all ears. His care factor's through the roof, and just keeping him, as we all know, is a young quarterback still with a lot of experience from last year, but with plenty of opportunity to continue to grow, keeping him focused on the simple things that are going to allow him to move forward.
What did you see out of him today? As things obviously were live for you guys for a little bit.
Yeah, no. He definitely made some good throws. Again, led us on a 2-minute drive before the half. Had some explosive plays on the 2-minute drive, and connected with Matt Louder, in the end zone for a pretty nice catch there. And that was exciting to see him operate. It's probably one of his best 2-minute drives that he's had.
One of the other exciting parts of this spring in football moving forward for Boise State on offense is Ashton Jeanty and what the running back's going to look like. George Holani might be back there, and they might be doing it together. Lots of talk this spring about Jeanty and Holani working the backfield. But here's a specific question to Andy Avalos about Ashton Jeanty, what he's been doing this spring, and what's his next step.
He had a good scrimmage today. He had a couple impressive runs. He had some physical runs, as he always does. He had a nice run. We were backed up, and he had, a 15, 20-yard run when we were backed up down on the goal line to get us out of there, and then had another pretty nice run out on the perimeter where he hurdled someone and jumped over the top of someone. That was pretty explosive.
How do you envision him and George being used? And James was kind of joking, not joking, but kind of saying maybe both those guys can be out there together. There's so many different things you can do with those two. I mean, that's got to be a nice problem to have, I guess, how you use those two.
Yeah, in this game, you got to have 2 running backs, if not 3. I mean, it's a long season, and it's a physical and a game, and obviously we got some physical runners. And so, I mean, it's like the D-line, right? You got to have a 2 deep that you can, roll in and out of there like it's a line change in hockey. It's no different at the running back position. We got to have multiple guys that are extremely explosive, and we're excited about that room and how they're growing, how they're working together. And not only that, the pride they take in protecting the quarterback too, in the way the most of them can work out of the backfield and catch the ball and do some stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a position of strength this year. I'd expect Boise State at the running back position. Good stuff there. Even though George Holani, I don't believe will play in the spring game, Prater. I don't think he's played much, if at all, during spring football. So we'll see what type of workload Ashton Jeanty gets on Saturday. Let's get over to the defense a little bit. In a position Andy Avalos is not only very familiar with, but just absolutely loves. And, of course, I'm talking about the linebacker position. And there's been a lot of stuff with that position so far this year in spring because there's been openings. There's been reps to be had. Here's Andy Avalos talking a little linebackers.
The linebacker reps are, those are so valuable. To play at that position is a lot like being a quarterback. You got the front, you got the secondary behind you. There's a lot of communication. There's fits in the run game that happen quick. There's pass game stuff. And so them getting the reps at not only helping them run the defense, but becoming more and more disciplined with their fits. And to play linebacker here, it's not only about stopping the run, but you got to be a good blitzer, and you got to be able to play in coverage.
It's Misa or Simpson. Does anybody stand out? See you kind of back there making a big jump this spring?
You know what? Those 2 guys are doing a nice job. They're getting the majority of the reps, with the first team right now. They're very capable players that are, again, gaining a lot of experience of running it, and they're 2 young guys out there. It's different when there's 2 young guys out there and they got to run it all by themselves. It's different if you're in there with DJ Schramm and he's taking control and running the show. When it's those 2 in there, nope. That's the experience we're talking about because they got to handle everything. And, again, at that position is about getting everybody lined up and making sure we're playing, all 11 as one.
Is this football team going to go undefeated? I'm just testing you, man. No, but good stuff from Avalos there, talking about the scrimmage, and they get ready for the big spring game on Saturday.
Yep, we're going to be able to see with our eyes. Take your notebooks, take your pens, take your little seating chart. They don't call them depth charts this time of year. They call them seating charts. And there'll be ones playing against ones and so on and so forth, and you'll be able to figure out what the rotation is for the offensive line. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. I don't think we're going to see anything spectacular out of the running back room. As a matter of fact, you're right. Holani probably won't play. As a matter of fact, a guy like Tyler Crow will be the rock star of a scrimmage like this, because they're not going to put Jenny out there too much. They'll give guys like Tyler Crow a lot of fun and let him go out there and do his thing. Spread the ball around to a lot of wide receivers, a lot of different players on defense, and certainly a lot of repetitions on special teams. So looking forward to Saturday. We'll learn a lot about this football team on Saturday.
What are you looking forward to most on Saturday? And you can say the scoreboard. You can say the quarterback. You can say whatever the heck you want to say. Text us to 208-424-9300. Talk a little spring game Saturday. What's the one thing you are looking forward to the most? Until then, the shot that will live forever in the Mountain West and certainly in the community of San Diego sports. I'm talking Lamont Butler's buzzer beater on Saturday early evening during the Final Four national semifinals. JP has scoured the earth to find every radio and television call he can of that classic jump shot parade, and we're going to play those. Not necessarily who did it best, but just enjoy the moment from a different types of perspectives. Sound good?
Looking forward to it.
I love it. Everybody did a great job on this one. JP, let's talk Butler's shot. Multiple radio and television calls of this sucker when we come back on Prater in the Ball Game.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.